And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be yes, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful, exciting day. Justification and a big middle finger of a green candle to the rest of the markets. I think what we are witnessing right now is unprecedented. As you could probably tell in yesterday's video, I was pretty excited, and that excitement leads into today for multiple reasons. Let's pause myself in the background. One of the things that I think that is most interesting about these sentiments is as we grow and learn to chart and study technicals, one of the things I've always led with is, well, first off, fundamentals don't matter. We saw that yesterday. Doge went up 500%. Secondly, it's because it's just wherever money pressure goes, the money will move the market. Bing, that happened. Number two, news is almost unimportant. The fact that Elon Musk changed his name to say Bitcoin, it was secondary to the fact that the market was in a very positive technical position. And we had said this multiple times that you usually want to look for news that disrupts the market near the bottom of that support, or tries to, hence this fake double spend issue that we saw. And yesterday, I said very clearly, within 48 hours, you're going to see Bitcoin run to $40,000. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, just go back and look at it. It feels so good not to be right, because it's not my opinion. I was simply following the markets, and to be able to have that type of assertive behavior, not in my opinion, but again, in watching the markets, is such a huge change for me. It took a long time to get here. This is, again, like a decade worth of practice to get to the point where I'm like, yes, look what the market's saying. This isn't really my opinion. I mean, I'm using my conjecture of my opinion to try to emphasize, like, people are buying Bitcoin. Anyways, we don't want to talk too much about my opinion. What we do want to do is look at the charts. This is what I drew yesterday. And if you would recall, and you can go back and look at yesterday's video, I said I think we'll get a retest of the POC line, which is currently sitting at $31,000 or $32,000. We slammed back to the POC, and we smoked and screamed out of there. Now, there's going to be conjecture for probably a lifetime around why this happened. And for those of you that are on Twitter, please go join the revolution and change your basically profile just to say Bitcoin. It's happening all around the markets right now. I did it for fun too. I mean, mine's always said Bitcoin, but now it just only says Bitcoin. And we've actually seen, if you go into the trending tag on Twitter, Bitcoin is getting its signal. Jack had already had just Bitcoin up there, but you're seeing it roll through the markets. And one of the important parts here is to understand that this is actually a reflection of yesterday's events. Yesterday's events were a clear signal that the regulators did not want to play ball with the retail investor. And people like Jack and Elon Musk have always, even though Jack's been in a very difficult situation with Twitter around censorship, and because it's a publicly traded platform, he should have stayed maybe private with Twitter. It would have done better. It didn't need to be they didn't need that much money to run this company. Anyways, this is a totally different conversation. But Bitcoin got that signal. And it wasn't just about the front-end news of this to begin with. It was in a very positive technical position. Now, it felt like we were fighting tooth and nail to be like, hey guys, like, I even had to make a video like, was I wrong? Did we get this wrong yesterday? Like, Bitcoin's back down at $31,000. I had all these people messaging, oh my God, should I sell? What should I do? Are we going to 20 grand? I'm like, look guys, so far everything looks technically really strong. We actually are at a higher low than our previous test, and we're on our way moving out of that area. Yesterday, when we were up at around 34,000, I'm like, great, we've hit the top part of our trading range. I think we're going to come back down and hit the POC, because that would be nice to see a secondary test. This candle today, though, this is a very clear signal of a fuck you. This is a market buy. This is not comp man taking his time to build a position. This is the market going, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just spend a bunch of money right now and jack the price up. This is in no way, shape, or form like what Compman tries to buy and accumulate without really advertising the price too much. I expected this would be normally if it was just a really like a sophisticated buyer, and it's probably a sophisticated buyer that wanted to send a message. And not only that, it might have been a group of sophisticated buyers who wanted to send that same message. Yesterday, when we made our video about GameStop and wallstreetbets, hey, I commended them. I commend Chamath, Elon Musk, because this is the point of the revolution, is to understand that the people are the power. The government shouldn't have any control over you. The banks and financial institutions should not be able to kick you out of the things that you deserve to be able to do. Democratizing finance has literally been this sector's goal since it started in 2008, because it took the hands out of the government and the regulators. We are in what will probably be looked back as one of the most important revolutions of our time. And it's important that you show up, because the more voices we have here, the better it turns out for everyone. Now, I don't even really know what to say too much. Like this, again, this candle here, this type of volume buy, this is not how Compman normally operates. Compman normally operates to try to like squeeze out more retail hands along the way. He doesn't just jack up the price like this. I bet you if we were to look at certain areas, you'd see big gaps in the market, especially in the CME futures. When we look at the futures market today, you're going to see a massive gap. And the reason that is again, I think that this is a chosen point where people just went, you know what, fuck it, let's go straight to the open market, let's jack the price up, and we'll give them a big green middle finger. Because we can, and we should. These regulators and governments have for far too long been able to just print money and control and manipulate the system to their advantage. This is the first time in history where technology is giving us the opportunity to really fight back. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's the fact that I can jump on YouTube right now, like in an instantaneous moment with like, look how high this video definition is. I got a microphone. This used to cost tens of millions of dollars to be able to produce this type of content, and we're doing it now basically for like free in comparison. And this again is one of the most important parts to understand, is that this like decentralized revolution is not just about Bitcoin. It's never been just about Bitcoin. It's been about technology in general. And I think that this is just our way because the financial sector is one of the most important parts of all of the sectors, right? Every sector that's grown in capitalism has been based around the financial sector, right? So if you build a business, you're using US dollars. Well, this is the first time in history, and this is what really sold me on Bitcoin, is you get to choose. Yesterday, for a little bit, people were choosing Doge as what they were interested in. And because of that, we'll take a very quick look here. Doge jumped up. Elon Musk made a bunch of crazy, funny tweets about Doge too. And what I like about this meme idea here is that it just goes to show that fundamentals, again, don't matter. They never have mattered. The underlying, what the like PE and earning ratios are, it's all bullshit. None of that makes a difference in the price stock. Elon Musk has done a great job of advertising the intelligence of the market, which is if there's money and there's buy pressure, it will fucking go up. It doesn't need there's dividends and payouts and the new CEO. It's always been only speculation. And Dogecoin is a beautiful example of that there's no need for any fundamentals in it whatsoever for it to explode. If there's buy pressure, and the sell pressure, it gets lost basically, then that's it. It's gonna fucking explode. And this was, I think, a very, very important lesson for the markets here. Again, I suggested yesterday, don't buy Doge, buy Bitcoin. Although I did make a $50 leverage trade that worked out quite nicely. We caught it right at the 42 area before it broke out again, which is a different story. You'll check my Twitter. I made a funny post because. First off, where was it? Go back to my Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, guys. Twitter is a super important place to be. I think it's like what Vitalik said, the water cooler of the world. But I thought this is, well, first off, the memes right now are amazing. I can't stop the memes right now. But this was one I thought was quite funny. This is my tweet about Doge. New trader gets smacked in the face by a trade, but experienced trader gets to do some cool trick before getting smacked in the face by a trade. I was out of my trade in Doge last night, but unimportant. You ride the waves, play around. I only throw $50 at it at like 40x leverage or something crazy. Anyways, we're just having fun, learning and playing in the markets. That's what I like about what Chamath Palihapitiya had to say about this as well. So Doge, I obviously recommended not to buy it. I said Bitcoin, well, and good, none of this is financial advice, guys. Please do your own homework and due diligence. Take responsibility for your own trades because you're grown-ass human beings, and that's what this whole market represents, free choice. So Bitcoin, technically speaking, this type of market buy, this is not evidence of a consistent market player. This is evidence of basically either a single individual or a group of individuals who want to give a big green middle finger to the markets. And we deserve to do that. After yesterday's GameStop fiasco, what wallstreetbets was able to bring to the table from companies like Robinhood and just show the weakness of the regulators, like the fact that you had Ted Cruz, AOC agreeing, or that I agreed with AOC yesterday, that was a huge break. I don't think I've ever liked one of AOC's tweets. Like I don't like socialism in any way, shape, or form. And this lady just like nailed it. Like something's wrong here, and that's a big deal. because that something that's been wrong here has been wrong here for a long time, and it's the ability of the markets to take advantage of the little guy. These big hedge funds have been able to put buy and sell pressure into the markets for a very long time, and they've been taking money from the average retail investor for a really long time. And again, just to remember here, guys, there's an extremely important part around the understanding of how a market works. So first off, again, let's kind of go over this. There is no need for fundamentals. It makes no difference. It's all about the liquid supply and the amount of buying and selling pressure. That's why Doge went up in a matter of just a few days, almost 10x. Now, okay, in the Bitcoin market, you can't do that because this is a much bigger market. The liquidity issue here is much larger. And what we'll probably want to do is dive into Glassnode. I probably should have uploaded these charts earlier. But you can see that the supply has actually dropped over the last 24 hours as well. And again, this is not just about Bitcoin. The entire DeFi sector right now is going to start exploding. What Ethereum and Bitcoin can do together is exponentially higher than what just Bitcoin does by itself. And more importantly, it's what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink can do as like this sexy little threesome, because I'm a pretty big fan of those. You got basically Bitcoin as the man of the relationship, and Ethereum and Link is like the two ladies. Anyways, maybe I'm a little biased, but whatever. That's what I'm going with. I don't know why I'm playing with Buddha's necklace right now. Fuck off, Buddha. I mean, Tio, fuck off. So the change here in character sentiment around this market is coming from an angle of the average retail investor learning a massive amount about the market in a very short period of time. Number one, the regulators have pushed them down, and they've controlled the markets via hedge funds and massive amounts of liquid buy and sell pressure through leveraged options calls in place. Even though we have derivatives in this market like CME futures, etc., and you can sell short a stock you don't own, they have to be settled every day, and that affects the price of Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis. Now, on the weekends, that's why you've seen a bit more of a bullish run, because the sell pressure of the shorting of the CME was gone, and the CME is full of big institutions, only some of which who are actually good at what they do. There are many institutions, if you read like Nassim Taleb's books, Fooled by Randomness, that actually don't have they just look like they're successful, wait, and then they're gone because all they were doing was riding a wave and they had no real understanding of the markets. Once the wave changes, they lose. And that's happened many times. Most big hedge funds that existed are fucking gone. There are a few that have stuck around, mind you. I'm not saying all of them. So we dropped another, another 0.1% of all Bitcoin have left the exchanges in the last 24 hours. We can see that in the exchange balance stacked information here on Glassnode as well. Mr. Beast is also tweeting about Bitcoin, and again, this is I swear this is the beginning. Yesterday was the beginning of the revolution. I'm still today so passionate about what happened because it is absolutely unacceptable and extremely disgraceful that these regulators and these market players are allowed to get away with what they were doing. You shouldn't be able to downsell a front-end mom-and-pop business in the middle of a pandemic who's just trying to do their best to make ends meet. It's disgusting. It does not belong in our society. Bitcoin has none of that. It has. Anyways, I don't want to get too like off kilter here, but it's too early in the morning for this. Maybe I'm going to do a second live stream today. You guys are going to get 2 live streams today, most likely. I just wanted to catch this morning because this big green FU candle is something to witness here. I think it's extremely impressive. Okay. So again, we saw the exchanges drop. We went from 830,000 on 830,000 Bitcoin on Coinbase yesterday, down to 829,000. So yeah, 1,000 Bitcoin left yesterday. Not a lot, just on Coinbase alone. I bet tomorrow when we refresh this data on Glassnode, we're going to have an even bigger market sweep on the down cycle. Okay, so on the plus side, Ethereum also looking very strong. Here's our rising gradient bottom that we were watching for Ethereum. We got stuck below our first micro SOS here, and I do believe what we are about to witness is, I'm not sure why I deleted my LPS here, but this would look like a very clear LPS to me, probably because we were going over this in the private group. And then I think we're about to see the SOS, which probably brings us to around $1,600. And then we see a really nice reaccumulation channel here. So I took my longs in Ethereum yesterday. I built out a few here at around 1340, 1320. So I'm just hopefully going to chill in those for a long time. Now, again, guys, what I want you to understand here is that Yeah, what I want you to understand here, guys, is the market is actually a pretty intelligent place. The fact that they're calling Wall Street bets uneducated investors is disgraceful. There's a lot of, okay, first off, let's go look at Wall Street bets, because I'm assuming that a lot of you guys just haven't even gone there. So this is Wall Street bets. As you can see, I'm a member. I think they're great. They've changed their color status. That's fun. I'm not logged in right now, but that's okay. We'll do that later. First off, I love the memes. I love the memes here, guys. The market memes going on right now in Wall Street bets are like supreme. Like, oh yes, retard, oh, deep value, paper hands, panic sellers, it's morning of full surprises, you DPV. I love memes. Memes are a wave of the future. Like I like this too. Dad, what did you do during the coronavirus pandemic? I saved GameStop by crashing the entire stock market and making selfish billionaires lose money. Fucking legend. And again, we were, for those of you again that were here the other day when we were going over, I was confused on why the VIX had shot up 60%. The VIX shot up 60% because this signals to the market that the retail investors can play the game now. And this is the first time in history you've seen that. These are not unsophisticated people. These are not degenerates. These are brilliant individuals who are learning how to collaborate at scale. You do not underestimate the group. The group are the people that put the governments in power. The group are the people that allowed the governments to be there in the first place. The group are the people that paid the taxes that make everything happen in that country, in all of these countries. The people that you think are degenerates are the group, and they are the many. They are what control society, to better or for worse. Now, I'm not a big fan of groupthink. There are often times in riots you can go wrong. People are fighting over stupid things like, well, my team didn't win the soccer game or some stupid shit. Yeah, humans can be pretty degenerate in groupthink. This I would agree with. But it's very important to make a distinction and understand the difference of what's happened here right now. Because the distinction and the difference is between the average human being being able to make investments in the stock market and play the game by collaborating, by creating buy and sell pressure wherever they choose, and the big money market makers who have done the exact same thing, but at the loss of the retail investor. So if you in any way promote the idea that Wall Street bets is unintelligent or degenerate, you have no idea what this is about. This is much bigger than your ability to comprehend something. And for you, I'm worried, because it means you're on the wrong side of history. And you never want to be on the wrong side of the history during one of these things. What I think is so beautiful about this too is that people need to understand that during the Bolshevik revolutions, you didn't need to be like the richest person. Once the many were upset, they came after anybody who had anything, right? And we don't want that. One of the reasons why I think what Chamath is doing, what Elon is doing, like, look, I'm a billionaire and I don't drive Ferraris. I don't drive some stupidly expensive vehicle. I don't own any property. I don't live in mansions. I'm not going out on yachts. It's because it's important to make the distinction right now. Otherwise, you're going to become the target. There is a growing and have been growing inequality gap due to this massive amount of money printing and the bailing out of the Wall Street buddies, banks, and other institutions who do not deserve to be bailed out. Well, the average mom and pop store goes broke. It's unacceptable. And unless we fix it, even if you are remotely close to the 1%, which is like, I think only 500 grand a year, it's not that much money. I mean, considering there's 7 billion people on the planet, it's a lot of money. But in reality, it's not that much money. It's that very few slim 0.001% who have benefited from, and not people like Jeff Bezos, not people like Elon Musk, the cronies inside of the government institutions who have been able to get away with basically murder because the rules are different for them. And this is what I think we're witnessing right now, is a huge shift of character into this as well. Okay, first off, yeah, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, not investment or financial advice, but if you haven't yet, just do it. For those of you that were panicking, well, this is why I said just be patient. We're clearly in a bull market. The technicals here were clearly set up to do us well. And even though this is a big giant green middle finger candle to the markets that say, hey, we don't care what you think anymore. We're going to choose our own money. I'm deeply humbled and grateful to be a part of this, because we're going to look back in history and we're going to laugh at how many ridiculous things we let our governments and regulators get away with. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into that. Like, I don't want to get. I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm here for other people to learn how to effectively build a portfolio. And it's a pretty simple thing to do. Just execute. It's like going to the gym. Show up monthly, put in the work, and make those gains. And do that over the course of a decade. And before you know it, you might look like The Rock or something. I don't know. Okay, Ethereum really quickly. Back to Ethereum again. Guys, today's live stream probably might do 2. I'm not sure yet. A little bit impatient here. I wanted to do a live stream early, so I just jumped on to see how it worked. You know, maybe we should actually go over and look at the rest of the market. Yeah, before we go over Ethereum, guys, because Ethereum just had a nice bullish again too. Look at this. So what's fun here is we saw our horizontal trading range start to form, inverse head and shoulders through that trading range start to form. And then as soon as we hit the breakout of this box, boom. I do suspect we'll get one more test here and then we're going to fly out. We just want to retest the top of this trading range. So let's see, around 13,090, maybe even 13,030 for the test on some of the wicks before Ethereum just goes ballistic. We'll leave that drawn up so we can check our work tomorrow. So far, we've been pretty good at this. And again, I'm not trying to take like credit here. The market's saying something, and I'm trying to listen to the market. I'm not like, oh yeah, I called that. No, that's wrong. Anyone who tells you that shit is a horrible trader. No, I didn't call anything. The market said something and I listened. And I'm trying to basically, like I'm the market whisperer. That's what I'm trying to be right now. Like I'm trying to be the market whisperer. Some people want to talk to animals. I want the market to talk to me and I want to know what it's going to do before it does it because it's whispering. It's telling you its deep little secrets. It's buy, supply, and demand side. Okay. So let's go kind of take a look at the general markets. I think that, again, if you haven't joined Wall Street Bets, I think it's important to support this. This is a movement of people who are willing to collaborate and work together. Yeah, a new Banksy painting. Fuck yes. I love this stuff, guys. This is so cool. I can't tell you how cool I think this is. Like the coolest thing I've seen in my lifetime. This is like the biggest moment in market history. The last 48 hours has been just like, wow, we're here. You know, it's going to take a while. We're again, remember these banks and these governments have a lot of guns and they have a lot of power. It's not a revolution that happens overnight, but it's starting. These are the cracks in the dam. The dam has not broken. The flood of everybody understanding how they've been screwed over by their governments and banks has not fully happened yet. Right? This is just crack. There's like, oh, look, there's a little crack. There's a leak in the dam. Like, oh, yeah, we'll fix that. I think this is when the dam starts to break this time. Okay. Right. Back over the general markets here. Just for, again, some fun conjecture. For those of you that have been following us for a while, you would like to know, instead of reading the news, what I look at is the VIX. If the VIX does something crazy, then I'll go figure out what the news is because it tells me the amount of news I should be interested in. So when the VIX spiked 60% the other day, I couldn't figure out what happened. And when everyone was talking about GameStop, I'm like, how does GameStop naked short selling have anything to do with the market spike and volatility? Okay, well now it makes sense. Retail investors realize they can control the markets. That's a big deal. Okay, everyone's at risk then. The whole NASDAQ is at risk. Stupid Adina. She should get the hell out of the way. She doesn't even know how her own company works. Okay, next thing we want to go over is the S&P 500. Now this is probably going to be negative for the general stock market. Great, look, I love our chart's still doing well. We look like we're about to get the finalization of the spring. Although I do suspect that the entire stock market is going to explode. I think they're just going to increase money printing. They're going to continue to devalue the dollar. There's no real option here. This is a chart we've had drawn up for weeks now. I think once we get that spring, it's going to be massively bullish for Bitcoin. It's probably, once we finish this spring here in the S&P 500, it probably goes up and all prices and assets start to get inflated in every area of the stock market and in the housing world as the dollar basically becomes worthless. Now, silver is an interesting conversation. I think we went over this yesterday. One of the Private Bear Den members had been asked a question, and I wanted to go over this just because I thought it was kind of a fun example, around this being one of our alternative reaccumulation ranges, and it looks like it is. So there are, again, guys, a few different styles of reaccumulation. So for those of you that are actually interested in studying markets and not just following calls or signals, which pretty much will only lose you money unless you know what you're doing in the markets. Actually, I guarantee they'll only lose you money. We study something called the Wyckoff trading ranges, and we're going to go over this one here. It's a weaker schematic, so I don't think silver is a good buy. I think technology is significantly more exponential, and you don't really necessarily need silver for technology. We do now, but that might not always be the case. So this is schematic 4, if it will ever load here. Okay, maybe I'll just try refreshing my screen. Internet in the jungle today. Okay, so here's schematic 4, where you have a top, your primary support and your buying climax are actually in a smaller box, very similar to what we see here. Before we see our breakdown, boom, automatic reaction or shakeout, automatic reaction, secondary test, and then no test, so like this. Again, we had our primary support, our buying climax, our test, our breakdown to our shakeout, our secondary test, and then now we've broken up. Now, one of the things here, I know that people are talking about the silver markets being manipulated and rigged, and although I agree with this sentiment, it's not the same as something like GameStop, which literally has a limited supply of stock. We don't know how much silver there is, and we can extract more of it, so it's not the same. It would be almost impossible for them to do the same thing with silver that they did to GameStop. So keep that in mind. I don't think silver is just going to all of a sudden explode because of Wall Street bets. I think they'll find out very quickly that because we don't know the fixed supply of silver, it doesn't work the same. And a lot of them probably already know that. Secondarily, though, look at GameStop. Okay, so here you go, another big FU middle ground. Okay, so here's Robinhood cutting off only sells and liquidating people. Fuck you, Robinhood. You're going to get so fucked. You are so fucked. Man, Robinhood, you are so fucked. This is because they started selling people out and automatically closing their positions. And now you see a green market day. This is going to be one of the biggest class action lawsuits, I think, in history. What we saw yesterday will equate to one of the biggest moments in market history. And just to kind of go over this, yeah, so fuck you, Robinhood. Clearly going to lose all of my demonetization, or like my monetization, to go fuck you, Robinhood. So, and thank you to acting Attorney General Monty Wilson and Mr. Shapiro, was it Shapiro too? I want to give shout outs to the guys. Mr. Josh Shapiro, who is the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, who made this fantastic tweet. So again, I just want to go over, this is all hugely important stuff, guys. GameStop. It's amazing how quickly regulators and platforms stop manipulation by average folks with smartphones, Wi-Fi, and a few dollars, but can't find it within themselves to hold banks accountable for the same Wall Street manipulation that actually ruins lives. Yes, I'm starting to, these attorney generals are all working together. Here's another one. The acting attorney general, House of Representatives from the Congress of the United States from Washington, D.C. Dear acting attorney general, I am greatly troubled by the events that unfolded on Wall Street and demand for action from the U.S. Department of Justice. Today, a FINRA-regulated broker-dealer called Robinhood Markets, Inc. halted the purchase of stocks on several publicly traded companies, including GameStop, BlackBerry, AMC, and others. A unilateral move that was done so in a concerted effort to deplatform and silence individual investors. This began when an investment management fund called Melvin Capital Management, also a big fuck you to Melvin Capital Management, I hope you guys burn in a fiery flame of nonsense and never recover, placed an aggressive short sell in the company GameStop. To contradict this decision, they heavily followed Reddit page Our Wall Street Bets, and their administrators advocated their followers purchase GameStop using the brokerage Robinhood. And the movement was so immense that it drove the stock price over 400% of its previous value. And as a result, Melvin Capital lost billions of dollars on their return, and Robinhood blocked users from buying any more GameStop, but still allowed liquidation. Melvin Capital Management is owned by a parent company called Citadel, LLC. Whew, you guys are going to get burned the fuck down. I'm so stoked about these letters. Which, according to a Bloomberg report, gave Robinhood roughly 40% of their revenue. Knowing the involvement Robinhood has with Citadel, it is clear that the actions today taken were motivated by an anti-competitive reason, not for concerns of volatility claimed by the Robinhood, but because of the blatant conflict of interest and obvious monopolies activity. I am calling on an immediate investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice into Robinhood and the hedge fund of Citadel, LLC. Paul A. Gosser, member of Congress. This is... Again, guys, this is like the first crack in the dam. I'm so stoked about this shit. Like, finally. Okay, so GameStop took another big jump up here, 70%. We made a fun tweet the other day, too. I thought this was another good one. Hey, guys, you know, if... where was this one? I made some fun tweets that came out yesterday. Yesterday was a big day. Where was it? Guys, I love Twitter. Seriously, Twitter's like such a great place to be. Okay, here we go. So if GameStop sells a bunch of their stock right now and builds a treasury into Bitcoin, it now has huge fundamental value. Hey, Sailor, get these guys on the line and get them to flip their treasury into Bitcoin. Could you imagine if AMC, Express, and all these companies just started to jump into Bitcoin with their treasuries and started to sell stock? What does GameStop do? It sells video games. It owns Bitcoin, motherfuckers. I can't express to you guys how much I love this. This is one of the coolest, like, people who watch dramas have no idea how exciting this is right now. Like, real world, this is a real world, like, LARP. This is a live action role play game. Okay, AMC Entertainment, another 65% jump off that selling that Robinhood forced them into. And another 52% jump off the bottom for Express. I believe that there's a few more. I think it was Bed Bath & Beyond, BY, Bed Bath & Beyond that was on the NASDAQ that they also were. Again, a lot of these guys are front-end retail stores who big funds like Citadel Capital. Again, I don't suggest you buy any of these. I just think it's a beautiful market entertainment value. Same with Doge. It's to show that fundamentals don't mean goddamn thing in the markets. And that in itself is one of the hugest lessons you should take away from this, is fundamentals don't mean shit. On the long term, yeah, you want to invest in fundamentals because then you can like rely on it actually having supply and demand. But if enough people want to buy it, no, it doesn't matter. The price will go up. That's not market. And again, that's not market manipulation. I don't know how many motherfuckers on YouTube have been like, oh, they're manipulating the markets with things like Tether and the futures. And no, that's just literally how markets work. You ponce. But use this as a learning experience, because it should be one of the most valuable learning experiences you take away from this week, is that fundamentals mean nothing in the short term. If there's buy and sell pressure, the market price will go up. If there isn't, it will go down. And that's it. That is it. Doesn't matter how much the money's making, its earnings, its ratios, none of those things matter. Speculation is strictly off the buy and sell pressure of a limited supply asset, period. I think it's the most valuable thing you can take away from that. Okay. What was the next idea we want to go over? Oh yeah, guys, I don't know. Join the revolution. Change your Twitter handle to Bitcoin. Have the fun here. I couldn't be more happy. I hope Robinhood gets just burned into the ground. People deserve to go to jail for this. People deserve to go to jail for what happened in 2008. People deserve to go to jail for what happens when HSBC launders billions of dollars and gets away with it. Where if you try to make even little accidental mistakes on your IRS form, you get fucking thrown in jail. This is unacceptable that we have different rules depending on how much money you have. It's unacceptable. So I hope this crack in the dam leads to a full-scale flood. And I do believe that it comes directly into Bitcoin. And I think today is a prime example of that. I think today is a prime example of the fundamentals now leading into the same factor. Now, I actually think we're going to get a small retracement. We'll probably come test the top of the box here, because that was just a fuck you candle. That was not like, the market wasn't supposed to do that. The market, like a healthy cycle of like sophisticated investors shouldn't do that to the market, but they wanted to. They wanted to go, you know what? I don't care how much money I get scraped for right now. I want to send that green middle finger to the rest of the big market players. We're going to start using Bitcoin. Okay. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I couldn't be more excited. I'm so excited about this. Like it's intense for me. You know, when I first bought Bitcoin, I bought it at $90. I bought it because it got me a discount on servers. When I bought it again, I bought it at $1,000 at the exact market high, because I was kind of a stupid retail investor. But as a stupid retail investor, the thing that really sold me on Bitcoin was that it was a money that we could choose. For the first time, it wasn't a government money forced down my throat that I'm like, oh, you have to use this money that we control, that we can manipulate, that we get the power to print more of. Bitcoin was the first chance to take a step towards a voluntary financial system. And instead of trying to reform the old one with new regulations for what Robinhood just fucking did, it's time to build a new one. And I believe that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link together, this sexy threesome, do exactly that. So if you haven't yet, do your own homework, do your own due diligence, and find your way into this sector. This is one of the most exciting times in history, and we will all look back and go, wow. This is the moment the revolution started. I swear to God, like that was the crack. I you know, I feel like a dick saying that because you don't want to be you don't want to be a little bit, you don't want to be before the revolution and you don't want to be after it. You want to be on the side of history as it happens. The same way you want to be in a trade pretty much as it's happening. Not too much before and not too much after, as it's happening. So I want to thank you guys for joining us on today's morning episode. I really hope that you guys appreciate these videos. We have over 10,000 views on yesterday's video. If you want to hear me rant more, please subscribe and like the videos, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be doing a live stream every day, maybe even twice a day. I might even do a second one today just to see what the hell else is going on, because there's so much out there. It's really, really important for us to collaborate. Anyone who calls Wall Street Bets degenerates deserves to be slapped in the face, because they have no idea what's going on. They're horribly uneducated, and I've seen some of these people, and I don't want to name them by names, but you can find them very easily. Anyone who's calling, I mean, like, unless you're saying like Degans, like it's like you call me a Degan, like, and you're calling me a degenerate, like in a fun, playful way, I'm okay with that, because yeah, I took a $50 leverage at 50x on Dogecoin at 42 cents yesterday, or 4.2 cents yesterday. Great, and I closed it out in a profit. But the point of this is, I'm having fun learning and experiencing by risking on playful things. And for that, if you call me a Degan, I'm okay with it, because it means you're probably one of us. But if if you're like calling us degenerates, unsophisticated investors, you are on the wrong side of history, and I suggest you get your fucking act straight, because this is the wrong time to be supporting the governments and the regulators. Anyways, this is T with the Arcane Bear. Thank you guys for joining us. I want to give a big shout out to all of our Arcane Bear admins in the private group, all of our private members who make the conversation so well. I also want to go, hey guys, there we go. There was our secondary test. Look at that. How beautiful was that? Like clockwork. This is where we put our secondary test, the POC yesterday. Whoop, bang. I do suspect, again, this was a middle finger candle, so I do suspect we're going to probably get like a 6% retracement here before we jump to that 40 grand spot that we were looking for. So just as I finalize the show here, just to reiterate what I was hoping to see. So reaccumulation, Wyckoff. Again, you guys can study everything for free. You don't have to join the private group. You just get a much better version of learning when we all collaborate together. That's why I think it's so important. Wyckoff reaccumulation by Hank Pruden. Wyckoff reaccumulation by Hank Pruden. This is how you'd research. Here's how you do your free homework if you'd want. Oh God, I can't even find it, hey? Trading the reaccumulation? No, Jesus, never mind. Maybe if I just go Wyckoff, I've got it on our private stuff. I just don't have it on open on the laptop. There we go. This is what we're looking for. This will do the trick. You can find it free on the internet. This one here specifically, a trading range. So here's the trading range that we're looking at yesterday. As you can see, we are bumping down in the areas of support. Just open that. Open on stock charts. I hate Pinterest. You suck. Like, why don't you just let me open the photo without signing in? God damn it. Anyways, guys, here, do your own homework. You'll be able to find this out here. Maybe this is another one I can just open up. Oh, now people are catching on. Sort of. Don't ignore whatever else he's done here. He's got it wrong. But don't worry about that part. If I could blank that part of the screen out. It's reaccumulation. Why was this so hard to find right now? This is like the first thing. There it is. Jesus. Reaccumulation review. I can't believe that was so hard to find. Highlighting other people's crap work. Okay, so here we go. This is again what we're looking for right now. We're looking for this particular relationship. Again, we were bounced along support. I think we're going to run into resistance. And we actually may even see that this is resistance after this, because you could draw this in as your creek. So again, for those of you that are studying, we could see how the creek drops down from the top above the trading range. You could draw your creek depending on how you want to do it, like this, effectively. So we actually may be hitting resistance now, not up at $40,000. But I suspect it's actually closer to the top of the trading range, probably somewhere around $40,000, this secondary the secondary automatic rally here, this blue line. So I think we're going to run up into that area, and then we're going to probably see another week or two of reaccumulation and selling. I think today that this buy signal was just a big middle finger to the system, showing them that they're just going to go somewhere else if they're going to ban them from Robinhood. And they're going to, all the big hedge funds are going to be late to this game too. You know, although there are a lot of big hedge funds in this sector now, you know, they weren't the first people here. So again, I think we're going to hit this resistance line. We're going to come back down, draw into this, and then we're going to see one of the biggest bull markets you've ever seen in your fucking life. It's going to melt faces like a Slash guitar solo. So Steve with the Arcane Bear. We'll do all of our question and comment stuff later today. So thank you guys for supporting us. We will do a second live stream today, probably around 3 p.m., our regular live stream time. So be sure to join us, because at that point we're going to go over your guys' questions. I just am just in such a fired up mood about this whole thing. You know, I've never been so excited about the markets. I've never been so excited about people collaborating together. You know, I've been in the financial sector focusing on investing and charting for almost a decade, and I've never seen anything that's been so like exhilarating. Where you're like, yeah, we're finally seeing the potential of what happens when we work together. And learning at the same time. It's a huge learning process for everyone to realize that the markets don't rely on fundamentals. They just rely on buy pressure. And if we all collaborate together and we all can be like, hey, we're like everyone buy GameStop, then look, a lot of those people became very profitable. So there are some people that made millions of dollars on that play. And anyways, again, Justin Sun says, I'll buy $1 million of game tonight when Asia market opens. Wall Street Bets community know that over 4 billion Asian community and 20 million Tron community are behind you. This is a huge revolution, because it's not just about the United States. The decentralized world brings everyone into the fold. Anyways, this deal with the Arcane Bear. Again, hold on, look at this. I'll show you guys that. We'll go over more of this later. Again, I just think it's important to see what's going on. I'm so grateful for your guys' support. And we'll see you guys again on the other side. Stay with the Arcane Bear. Boom.